This is the stuff dreams are made of. I'm writer-collector Ryan Condal.
And I'm writer-collector Dave Mandel, and you're listening to the original movie prop collecting podcast, brought to you once again by Heritage Auctions, HA.com. And they've got they're back. They've got the big Guillermo del Toro Collection, Bleak House Part 1, coming to you September 26, 2025, in Dallas, Texas. And you can go to HA.com, get a catalog, look at the auction online, download a catalog. This is some of the things from Guillermo's movies, things that he collects and loves, just a peek into his mind and brain. And it says Part 1, which is also really wild, which
that was exciting. Yeah, I didn't realize that until I opened the
It begets
PDF.
a Part 2. Yes, exactly. So yeah, check that all out. We're going to be talking all actually about this auction later, but hi, Ryan. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm good. I told you I just got back from the south coast of England. We got away for the weekend.
Lovely.
We've been doing some hard shooting, and I just needed to step away from things. And friends of ours, very kindly, American friends who have two houses here in England, so they are very committed to England. One is in the south coast, which is beautiful, and down in Sussex. So it's sort of near, like it's on the way to Portsmouth. So the old port that
Gotcha.
That's sort of on the kind of the Dunkirk port, basically, that was on the the north side of France, but it's not there, but it's near there,
sort of near where the channel you would get on the channel, or no?
Yeah, it's in that zone, exactly.
Gotcha.
It's directly south of London, basically.
Nice.
You just shoot right down there. So a bunch of people have vacation houses there. Some people live out there, but it's very much a vacationly place, and it does not feel like England in any way. They have this weird microclimate, so it actually is. It's sunnier more days a year there than any place, certainly than London. And it's cool because there's the Jurassic Coast is down there. You've heard of that fossil beach where for whatever reason
they just
you
kept
go down
finding
there and you
stuff,
just turn
right? Yeah.
over a rock and there's like a trilobite on it and whatever. And then there's also a bunch of Roman stuff down there because that's where the Romans were trying to press across and then press their advance. And then about 20, 30 years ago they uncovered this massive Roman settlement city, whatever, that they're still excavating. So you can actually go. We didn't do this yet, but I want to go back down there and see this, where they're still excavating it, so you can kind of go in and see what's going on there, which is really fascinating.
I'm adding that to my list. I had no idea about that. That's my favorite stuff. I love I guess archaeological ruins. I love when they have archaeological ruins and then they build a really cool museum. That's like my fucking and it's like part museum, part you get to wander around the ruins.
Yeah, you get to wander around. The thing is the museum. We went. This is Roman ruin talk here on the Stuff Dreams Are Made Of. Thank you for joining, everybody. Earlier this year, in the winter, we went out to Bath. I don't remember if I told the story on the podcast, but Bath is named after, because they discovered in the Victorian era the old Roman baths that were running there. Yes. There's this crazy like hot spring that pumps up something crazy like 2-3 million liters of hot, like 40 degree Celsius water, which is too hot to get into every day. And so the Romans built this like vacation spot over there. You would journey for days and weeks and months to get out there. And then it got buried by time and whatever. And the Victorians found it and they didn't quite know what it was and this and that. But you can actually go see that. And it's exactly what you're talking about. It's a Roman ruin. It's this old bath. The baths are still functioning. You can't go in them, but you can go and see it getting pumped out of the ground and see the place where everybody used to gather. And they've recreated a bunch of the rooms as they were. And they've pulled all this stuff, coins out of the fountain, and all these tributes they did to the gods and all this stuff. So it's like a functioning museum. And it happens to be the place where Jane Austen did all of her like key hot period when she was really cooking was all done in Bath. So you can go see Jane Austen, the house,
and Roman stuff. Oh wow! So you really get both sides. Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, it's this really funky place. It's become a big artist colony, so it's a really just interesting place to see. So
when I don't know if you're going to do this, I don't know, maybe before you leave London, just while you're on that side of the world, but at some point you should, because the kids will love it too because of the water and stuff. We did like Athens and the Greek islands, or some of the Greek islands. Now there's a million Greek islands, and some of the bigger Greek islands will have like these exquisite ruins, and then like a really great museum with just where they've just unearthed it's just incredible, like map drawings and paintings from villas and stuff, and just really, really, really incredible. Santorini, which is sort of a
Yeah.
sort of more known as a bit of a party island. It's like there's the party side, and then there's the other side of the island, and there's this just really, you can wander around the ruins, and then in sort of the middle of the island where you kind of make your left or right is the main is one of the main towns, and they have the museum there of all the things that they found in the ruins. So it's pretty wonderful. So
the nerdy side of Santorini.
Yes, exactly. The part I really liked, and there were other humans there, not perhaps as many as were at the sort of Instagram photo sites, but still good. Good.
Not wearing hot pants.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Well, what's new? Oh, what? Sorry.
Well, I was going to ask how you were doing.
Oh, I'm okay. I'll tell the audience. Ryan knows all of this. I have
Dave.
spent the last couple of days. This is Sunday, so on Wednesday, our dog Hooper, who's often a guest on the show, barking in the background, and you'll hear me be like, Hooper, Hooper. Hooper started vomiting, like copious amounts of vomit, and this went on Wednesday and Thursday, and it was weird because he was vomiting, but he was eating, and he was happy, and he was, peeing and pooping, and was just the same old guy, and we figured he'd chewed up some toy or something and it was irritating him, which is something he has done in the past, and he would either vomit or poop it out. And then on Thursday night, Friday morning, things sort of changed. Thursday night, he just started to seem lethargic, and by Friday morning, he no longer wanted to eat, which for a lab is nutso. And so went through the ringer with going to the vet, who really, I think, did a really terrible job. I won't name them so they don't sue me, but they did a really terrible job, and I think we're going to be switching vets. And ultimately, at some point...
we destroy both collectors and vets on this podcast.
This vet is selling a lot of Thor 2 hammers. No, so this went on Friday, and it was really sort of scary, and we made it through the night, and then Saturday morning I called the vet to basically go, this is not seeming good, and I got a lot of nonsense about giving him an anti-nausea medicine, and it was just like treating symptoms but not treating the cause. And finally I started just not randomly, I had a list, but I was calling basically emergency animal hospitals, and I found one that could do an abdominal ultrascan, and I got him over there, and of course he had this, I don't know, looked like a giant, fruit pit or vegetable pit, almost like a baby avocado or something, which he must have just swallowed down just lodged into his small intestines. And it was causing all the trouble, and they did surgery last night, and he got through the surgery great. And I spoke to the doctor this morning, and he's already eaten twice. So, I mean, it's just like back to just being a lovable idiot again. But I honestly, small nervous breakdown, and just sort of like passed out in a chair last night. I have been through the ringer. So
sorry. Dave. Pets, man.
No, props are lovely, but pets are your friend, and it was really scary, but everything seems to, knock on wood, be good. But thank you for asking. Yeah, so a little.
I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's okay. We are going to be auctioning off the foreign object that was lodged in Hooper's.
It's in a little jar of distilled water.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice.
Right.
Starting bid $1 million, though.
Dave has some debts to pay off
because I think he's chewed like a call sheet once. So there's prop.
There you go.
In there. Yeah. There's some prop
somewhere.
In there.
Yeah.
What's new in props, my friend?
This is a continuation of what's new in props from last week. One of my recent spate of Heritage Animation Cell wins, another collectible category I don't need to be adding to my roster.
I just to throw in, Heritage did a very cool auction of I guess it was sort of like the Viacom, sort of like Comedy Central, MTV,
Paramount, sort of. MTV, Nickelodeon.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
that sort of thing. But like lots of Rugrats, lots of Doug, lots of SpongeBob. And then Ren and Stimpy and Beavis and Butthead were the some of the big categories, and I fucking love Ren and Stimpy. That hit when I was in middle school, and it was just wired for right. a 6th, 7th grader's brain, and just absolutely loved it. The log song, I still have it committed to memory. And also Beavis and Butthead, of course. I did buy a Beavis and Butthead piece. A friend of the podcast, Calvin Mao, has that because it was bidding too late, and he owes me money, so I had him bid on it, and now he
Does he
no
owe you
longer
whiskey
owes
money? Whiskey money?
Yes, whiskey money.
Ill-gotten whiskey money, triangular. So you're just talking triangular trade. Oh, it's always triangular trade.
Tariff dodging whiskey money, and so I have those for him, and he no longer owes me money.
Goes to the Bahamas for rum, which is sent to the London for. I don't know. Anyway.
That's right. You saw Blow. It's called Cell, our movie instead. But so he has that. So when that comes out, I will show that.
Were you buying from specific episodes that you loved,
yes.
like moments, or were you buying just like cells that look good? Okay.
Yes,
both,
I was defensively buying a bit because there was one I really wanted, and I didn't know where it was going to go. So I wanted to defensively, because it was late in the run, and I wanted to have something. So I bid on a couple of things on the way there, and I bid on something that was from after John Kay, the creator, left the show, but that was because it had an original background. It was just a beautiful piece of art. Yep. So I have this one with an original background, and again, a beautiful piece of art. But the thing that I really wanted was from Black Hole, the weird space madness episode where they get like marooned on the planet and they start going insane. That came up late, but I did win one of those. That came in. It was in a frame.
Oh,
this one
nice.
I'm now showing it on the monitor. It was in a frame, so I had
to
to
shot up as well.
I had to break it out of the frame, because the frame was really shitty. So I had to break it out of the frame to show it off properly. But it's really lovely.
Nice.
It's like just a great Ren and Stimpy moment. Some haunted toasters or something flying around them, which I love, and I'm delighted by it. And I showed my kids Ren and Stimpy, and I think they looked at me like I was a fucking insane person. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it's not your thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing. Although I think I may have told you, my old writing partner, Jeff Schaefer, at some point or another, John Kay was asked to do, I can't remember, I feel like he was asked to do it, and then maybe they didn't use it because they were too horrified by it. But maybe they did use it, so I don't want to misspeak, but maybe someone can find this. He did an NBC logo. Like, you remember the peacock? I don't even know if our listeners even know what NBC is.
NBC was a broadcast television network.
They made money by airing shows and selling commercials.
They used to beam them through the air, and there was an antenna on the back of your TV.
They used to program 7 days a week from 8 to 11 p.m. with new shows, sometimes 26 episodes a year. But yeah,
there were 4 channels.
Yeah. Anyway, he did some kind of an NBC peacock. This would have been back in our Seinfeld days. And there used to be a great animation place on Beverly, kind of in West Hollywood. And they had a show, and they had one of these kind of weird-looking peacocks with the feathers. But I like everything else, I think it kind of looked like penises also, or something like that, because very John Kay. Anyway, and Jeff bought one of those, because we were working at Seinfeld, working at NBC and whatnot. And it was very cool. Like I said, I can't remember. I feel like NBC was horrified. But anyway, so
do you have a photo of that? I would love to see that.
You know what? I'll ask Jeff. I guarantee he still has it. I don't know if he knows where it is, but I'll see if he still has it. Yeah.
I would love to see a photo of that.
Very
anyway,
cool.
I was thrilled. I got 3 Ren and Stimpy pieces, a great Beavis and Butthead piece, and I got a SpongeBob piece that actually absolutely thrilled my kids. So
nice.
it was a successful auction for pennies based on what we usually compared to what we usually spent.
Television animation, certainly modern television animation is certainly still a relative bargain in the grand scheme of things. And even when you start getting into animation, I mean, it can get a little worse. But again, like when I've gotten treasured items from, like, forgive me, the old 60s Marvel Spider-Man, like cartoons. My favorite stuff from my youth, which is all the Super Friends stuff, designed by Alex Toth, whatever. I've gotten like, key title cells and whatnot. And compared to a prop, a piece of comic art, whatever, a bargain. Again, everything is relative. I understand that, but so I like to keep an eye, although on the heritage animation stuff, because it's another field where they just keep doing more and more and more, which I would say, even if they weren't paying me to say it, although they are paying us to say that. But yeah, I've got a thing on a piece of paper. It says "say this." Anyway, that's great, fantastic.
They're not paying us; they're just discounting our purchases. Essentially,
I guess so. Yeah, exactly.
So should we dive into this catalog? We got a cool catalog in front of us.
I have one quick. It's not what's new in props.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
no, it's okay. It's all right. I just wanted to tell this crazy story. So the condo, which is I guess like at this point I feel like it's the curse of the curse of the Black Pearl condo or whatever, just because shit just happens. So
you should start calling your condo the Devil's Backbone. I
know.
think.
The Friday before Labor Day, my assistant comes over and goes, "Did they call you? There's another flood at the building." And I'm like, "No, they didn't call me." So of course I go over, and I guess the giant like boiler on the roof of the building sprung a leak and flooded like straight down all the apartments, like into the fucking basement, and knocked out the 2 elevators. But
oh my God.
My apartment, which is, I guess, on the other end, for lack of a better word, for the first time ever, was unaffected.
Unscathed.
Yeah, unscathed. The hallway is full of water, like the hallway of the apartment building. Yeah, and I mean, they're just huge. And it's funny, I'm sort of annoyed because I feel like the building is sort of like being so much more proactive about like insurance and inspections and whatnot than when it was sort of just my apartment. You know what I mean? So I'm sort of a little bit like, fuck you all, whatever.
Yeah.
But I managed to sort of dodge that. And I went over to check on the place a couple of nights ago, and I walked in, and I had hung up above my living room, like a high up. I'd hung up this cool sign that I had gotten from Kerner, which is what the old ILM turned into, kind of Kerner. That's what, or I guess it was what they called it too early on. And the sign is just laying on the ground. The frame is smashed, and I'm looking around. And like, I'm trying to figure out, like, I have no idea. Like, number one, was there like a small enough earthquake that just kind of jiggled it a little bit? Nothing else seemed to whatever. Number two, I realized I got really lucky. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt anything, but it could have fallen onto the X-Wing. It could have fallen onto the X-Wing case. I think the case would have been strong enough, but I'm just glad it didn't. Was there something when we put it up there that we didn't quite get it in, or something, or the wood? I mean, I just don't know. Or ghost, or or just
the Devil's Backbone.
Yeah, the Devil's Backbone. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I would be complaining about that so much more, except then my dog went into the hospital. So it's like I just would like I'd like a week with nothing. That's what I want for Christmas, is a fucking week with nothing. I just would like drama. Nothing. Yeah, exactly. Anyway. So that is my insane prop story. I don't know where to put my shit anymore, is the honest answer. Because it's just like, I don't know, no place seems safe. Anyway.
I like to imagine that you have a rival, like comic art collector, like your nemesis, like your Newman lives on the other end of your building.
And he's sort of like spy versus spy, figuring this shit out.
Exactly, yeah. And this was your trying to... And you both don't want to destroy each other's stuff, because ultimately you want each other's stuff.
Right. You want to ruin my life enough so I just get rid of it all.
You have to start selling things, or you get so frustrated you stop collecting.
Right.
I like this. We should develop this. I think this is good stuff. Spy versus spy.
Perfect.
Nerd versus nerd. This would be good.
There you go. All right, let's get into it. So I'm going to hold it up just to show it, because I have actually a printed copy. So here you go. It is, as we said, September 26th, the Guillermo del Toro Collection, Bleak House Part 1. I keep calling it Treasures of Bleak House or something, or Horrors of Bleak House. That's my.
Horrors,
I like to change. I like to give these people title help. I think Horrors of Bleak House Part 1 would have been really cool. So you can, we're going to go through the whole catalog. So you can go to ha.com and you can follow along there. You can download a PDF of the catalog there. You can also, of course, order your catalog, or perhaps you've been sent a catalog if you're a good enough Heritage purchaser. They'll probably have sent you one. But shall we dig in? And we've got a wonderful, just gorgeous Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein plate on the cover. We know, of course, that Guillermo's Frankenstein movie will be coming out this fall. It just premiered, I think, was it Venice or Toronto?
I think it did.
One of those.
Venice, I think.
One of the big film festivals. It just premiered to much acclaim. And one of the coolest things, and we'll maybe talk a little bit more when we get to the piece, but his Frankenstein, played by Jacob Elordi, is that how one pronounces his name? is very tall and very thin and very much like Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein, including what he is wearing. So it is clearly a huge influence on his movie. Let us dig in. Also, I should point out, check out on our social media, we have this cool clip of Guillermo talking about collecting in general. And I guess, people keep asking, why is he selling? Why is he selling? Is he selling everything? He is not selling everything. From my understanding, he's got a couple of houses full of stuff and a whole collecting place. This, I guess, he had, like everybody else with the fires and stuff, he was sort of struck by, maybe I have a little too much. And so
too much to keep track
I get the sense that this is, some stuff. I don't mean that in a bad way. This is some incredible things. Maybe the kind of thing here where some of this maybe is his B material, but his B material might be our A material. So again, it's one of those things just to think about. But I don't think he's getting out of collecting. I think he's just like making a little more room for the whatever. Maybe he's making room for the Frankenstein props. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like just needs a little room. So really, really gorgeous. Should we dig on in?
Let's do it.
All righty. So hopefully there'll be some things, I guess maybe Bart will build this as we go along. But so it starts with 89. These are 89. So 890001 is a Cronos piece drawn by Guillermo del Toro in 1992. Just a concept piece that I guess, going all the way back.
His first drawing of Cronos, which is very cool. I actually really enjoy that movie.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I love this little story here that he was he had signed up for the Dick Smith makeup course, the correspondence course, which, by the way, from our chat with Matt Shackman, and I think J.J. Abrams did that. That it's like the Bill Walsh coaching tree.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the directors in Hollywood right now, like of a certain genre, at some point or another, all took that Dick Smith course or knew Dick Smith or something like that, which I think is sort of fascinating. There's an article in there somewhere that I am not writing. This is really cool. This is beyond concept art. This is like concept art. This is the concept art that would later influence the concept.
It's the thing that inspired the movie. Yeah.
And basically, this first part of the catalog is stuff really from his own movies, which is really cool. So 8902, I guess I'll just say 002. This is a recreation of the Cronos vampire device. Made from original production molds. So kind of neat. Not obviously an original prop, but certainly very cool. And then lot 3 is this very, very cool leather notebook, just full of his own, basically he has these notebooks that he's constantly filling with basically his stuff and his ideas and his sketches and whatnot. And this is just sort of an example of one of those notebooks, which you could then fill up maybe with your own stuff or something like that, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. These are beautiful.
Yeah, really, really gorgeous.
I guess this came
next?
from a bookshop in Venice, which I actually would love to track down and get one of these for myself. I don't think I need to pay for Guillermo's, but I would like to get one of those myself. They're beautiful.
I wonder if there's a way of finding like what the name of the he doesn't
Biblos.
say. He just it says Biblos. All right, well, let's check that
Venezia,
out.
Which is
It
Venice,
reminds me a little bit of the Ninth Gate, although I guess that's a bookbinder in like Spain that he goes to as part of the investigations. But I do love that. Did you ever get a chance to see Guillermo's exhibit when it was at LACMA here in Los Angeles?
Sadly, no, I didn't.
No.
This was many years ago.
Yes.
I went.
Ago.
We went through.
Ago.
Oh, it was incredible. Yes, we went through.
Really incredible. I mean, I have no memory enough to say like some of these pieces were on display or not like that. If this was if anything was in the
I do remember he had a Giger up, but I think it was a different one.
There are definitely examples. I mean, I definitely remember seeing like some of the Mignola storyboards for, I guess, Blade 2. And there's an example of that in here. I can't say I saw that one, but I remember seeing those and going, oh, wow, that's cool. Mignola did storyboards. My folks were in town, and like I was at the time just like, if they're in town, I'm just trying to find cultural things we can go to. And we went, and I took the kids, and they were little, and they got really freaked out and kind of scared. I was a really terrible father. Like, I just thought it would be museum-y, but there was like weird, cool, like weird head in a jar kind of shit, and they were freaked out and did not enjoy it.
I think
and
this was pre my kids.
To this day, kind of remember it and remind me of like that thing. I don't even know if they've made the connection that it was Guillermo del Toro. It was just like that horrible thing you took us to. Yeah. So yeah,
Guillermo would be very proud.
Very funny.
And then we scoot into some Devil's Backbone pieces here in 4 and
the original, not my condo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 4, which is this is the first Guillermo movie I saw because he was talked about a lot on the early sort of. This is before I was able to do this professionally, when I was just an interested, hopeful, aspiring screenwriter, and I used to follow a lot of the nerdy sort of fan film blog sites, and they were huge Guillermo fans. And I remember when this one landed, they made a big deal of it, and I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater because I was living in New Jersey and nothing cool was playing in New Jersey. But when this eventually came around, I remember I rented it on Netflix, and when they used to send discs to you.
Oh God, yep.
And got to watch it. I was really, really like moved and motivated. And just did the wow, what a unique and original talent. And then right off of the back of that, I believe he got the job for Blade 2, and I was a massive fucking Blade fan. So that was really exciting because like, oh, this guy is doing Blade 2, and that's kind of how I became a Guillermo fan, and then loved Blade 2.
Yeah. And speaking of Blade 2,
Blade 2 as well.
Yeah, we come now into some concept art and storyboard art, Lot 5 and Lot 6. And Lot 6
this stuff
jumps out at me because Lot 6 is now we're seeing Mike Mignola. So obviously there's a connection. Guillermo is the Hellboy director. But off of their relationship, Mignola did a whole bunch of just wonderful storyboard and concept art. And I love this. It's just great looking, early 2000s Mignola. This Blade 2 piece is a concept sketch for Damaskinos. I don't remember if I'm pronouncing that right.
He's the big baddie.
But the next Lot 7, this is the piece that I kind of jumped out. This is the it's the storyboard of the Death of Chupa. But this is the stuff I remember seeing in the exhibit. Just very Mignola, but at the same time, very storyboardy in a really cool way. Black and red, on white paper. Really, really wonderful. And this is a piece I've already marked. Again, I have no idea where these things are going to go. Are they going to sell like their Mignola, comic art, which maybe means they're going to go higher? Very reasonable estimate, starting bid $3,000. I think this piece, that piece was gorgeous, and I marked that one already. I just really loved it. And I knew this was coming, and I was really looking forward to it. So, very excited about that. And then we've got one of the UV bombs, which I thought was a great prop.
This is
Blade 2. Yeah.
This is great, and it's oversized for the use of. So, to get the electronics in it working so it could work practically. And Guillermo makes a point in here of how he loves to use oversized props to get that larger than life feeling with these things and the functionality of it. And he mentions a huge hand prop that was like literally a hand made to go with it, so that to kind of sell the gag. But this is a very memorable device that was introduced in Blade 2 and is very cool. I love Lot 9.
Yeah. So now, because obviously of his involvement with Hellboy and his friendship with Mike Mignola, but also Guillermo's a collector and he collects comic art. In fact, the first time I got to meet him, I met him very briefly on the set of the original Hellboy. They were shooting that when we were making Eurotrip. I think I've told that story. And got to go there because I was with Albert Moy, a wonderful comic art dealer. You can check him out at albertmoy.com. And Albert has definitely sold Guillermo a lot of comic art. And so now we get to see an actual Mignola piece of comic art. This is an incredible splash to Seeds of Destruction. So hopefully, I think, what's interesting about this as an auction is I think prop collectors are going to be very interested. I think horror collectors are going to be very interested. I think movie poster people, movie art people are going to be very interested. And comic art collectors. There's a lot of comic art in here too, and this is just gorgeous. This is an incredible piece
and very memorable. This is a panel that I remember, and I feel like this is something that he recreated in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie, very much so. So really,
I also love this. I love this next one, Dave. Lot
this
10.
is a Bill Stout piece.
Bill Stout Hellboy, which my brain wouldn't do. Like Bill Stout belongs doing Hellboy, but I do kind of love this thing because it just sort of all works for me.
No, I'm with you. The cover to Weird Tales 3, which was kind of a collection of different creators doing Hellboy stories. And, of course, Guillermo owns this one because it's a Cthulhu story. So you can kind of see they're in the Hellboy at the Mountains of Madness, obviously his movie and all that kind of stuff. So you're kind of seeing that. Then next, Lot 11, a cool Mignola Grim Reaper with Hellboy. Very neat. 2001. And then we get into just some Hellboy concept art by Mignola for the original film. And I'm going to just call out, just because I love looking at it, like even just Lot 13, which is Hellboy's door. There's something so Mignola just about this door. Do you know what I mean? Which, I don't know. I love it when an artist can obviously bring that sort of like almost like his own personal style into this world of I guess really almost like set deck, because the next shot is another Mignola piece. It's a Abe Sapien sort of like his tank and like his, him and his tube in the lab. And again, just super Mignola, where the tank has both a steampunk feel, but also there's almost like an organic piece to the, I don't know, just very Mignola, and this is all just very fun to see. Lot 15, the Apocalypse Clock, gorgeous. I mean, this section is just really wonderful. It goes on for a bunch of pieces. I really like this.
To go back and rewatch that movie. It's been a long time.
It's super fun. It's super fun. I really do. And I'm going to stop. Another one that I love is Lot 20, which is the baby Hellboy concept by Mignola.
Yeah.
Just really great. They show obviously a little picture, a little screen grab of baby Hellboy. This one obviously even more Mignola-y. And I don't know if you've ever read. Have you ever read? This I guess not exactly baby Hellboy. This would have been more like young Hellboy, the pancake story.
Yes.
So this baby Hellboy sort of reminds me a little bit of the pancake story, just in terms of the art and whatnot.
That's your most thing that you don't have Hellboy that's your most sought after, right? Is the pancake story?
I don't know if it's the most sought after, but I would love to own it. I know who has it, and I would love to.
Oh, you do know?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is his name Guillermo del Toro?
No, sadly, no. Apparently it was in the hand. I don't want to know if I should say this. It was in a collection where I didn't know where it was for a very long time, and then it moved, and then I discovered where it was, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So such is life. Such is life. With Lot 22, we're now seeing some really interesting concept art by Yasushi Nirasawa. This is Abe Sapien stuff. So it's Mignola stuff, but then it's also Wayne Barlow is some wonderful Samael concept work, Lot 23 and 24.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just
Those
all
are beautiful.
Really gorgeous, creature art. Lot 25, Samael's Spawning Ground by Simeon Wilkins. Just really, really fabulous. And then getting us to, I have to stop at 27, which is the Drew Struzan poster concept art. And this is just a really gorgeous Struzan piece. Obviously.
But really tight.
Yeah. Oh, no, this is more than a concept piece. Yeah. This is really fantastic. Just really nice. 2002, the full cast there, and a big full Hellboy with the gun. And then that starts a Drew Struzan collection. These are all concept pieces.
Lot 28 is gorgeous, too.
Yeah, 28 is gorgeous, with no offense to the rest of the cast. It's pure Hellboy with almost like a Mignola-like statue drawn by Struzan. God, it is gorgeous. And the Hellboy face there, which you really do see Ron Perlman, and yet it's Hellboy too. Really just fantastic. Which brings us to Hellboy. Go ahead.
And if you are a Hellboy fan and you haven't seen Cronos, please go back and watch it, because that's Guillermo's first collaboration with Ron Perlman, and you kind of see where all of these things, you
definitely know like why that was his casting dream. Yeah, exactly. And if I remember from interviews, I think maybe even before, like as they were like going into their first meeting or something like that, or the first meeting on the movie, when they had their talk of casting, I think there's a story that, I don't know if one of them or both of them have told, where they both were thinking Ron Perlman, and then kind of said it, and they realized kismet, like we should be making this movie together in kind of a great way. I also always thought that Mike Mignola had a really fascinating and really great way, a sort of a take on the movies, which was he does his comics, and that's sort of the Mignola verse, if you will. And the movies he's involved with, but that's kind of the Guillermo verse of Hellboy. And they are different, but they are similar too. And I always thought that was a really wonderfully healthy attitude. He loved what they were, but he also had things he wanted to do himself differently. And I always thought that was a very healthy, but also very cool way of, dealing with stuff.
Yeah. A very kind of open attitude from the creating author, artist. And, it's interesting because I think Hellboy, it's a tricky adaptation to do for a feature because the Hellboy books are so episodic, wonderfully episodic by the nature of how they're constructed. It really is the case of the day, or the seed of destruction. It's 6 episodes. We get through this case. They don't have this big sweeping. It's not a James Bond movie, with its arc and the character going through this deep 3-dimensional change over the course of the movie. It's really written more case of the week, the way Mike writes the series.
I am a fan. I like both movies, but I am partial to the first one. But I really do like them. And then now we're, and it's so funny. It's like, okay, we've been doing comic art and stuff, and now, of course, and then movie art, and now we're back to movie props. And this is pretty special. This is a screen-used Hellboy trench coat from Guillermo del Toro. I mean, fuck me. Come on. This is pretty incredible. Obviously, there have been these before. There have been screen-used ones, but I don't know. There's just something about getting one from Guillermo.
Coming from his collection.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Pretty incredible. I love this coat. I'm assuming there are probably some specific screen matches that you can probably do on this yourself, but just really, really wonderful. If nothing, the source.
Yeah, I would imagine the weathering would.
There's clearly some very specific, even just the leather collar. I bet you could find something.
Right.
I would bet. Or
look at the stitching.
Yeah, look at the stitching. And the pockets are filled with rubies and Thor 2 hammers. Lot 31, a cool page that Mignola did for inside of Rasputin's diary. Very neat. Very fun. Too bad it's not the diary. Too bad they're not in the diary or in a diary. Right. I guess you could maybe have Biblos make yourself one, and then you could put him in it. But very neat with all sorts of, weird runes and archaic insanity. And I actually think these work. I think if you buy this, you can summon the devil.
Curse your enemy. You can curse Dave's apartment building.
Or maybe uncurse it. I'd be thrilled with that.
To uncurse it, you would need lot 32, Rasputin's screen-used hero occult ceremonial robe.
I know we're joking, but look at the stitching. I mean, come on. I mean, this is gorgeous. I
love the skirting at the bottom. The way it's it's designed to sort of pool at the floor and
kind of allow you to almost glide along the floor. Yeah, in a very cool way.
A demented Christmas tree.
And again, a very reasonable $20,000 starting bid. I don't remember ever seeing one of these. I mean, I've seen certain Hellboy pieces. I don't remember ever seing one of these long coats. I could be wrong.
No,
very beautiful.
It's entirely possible that's the one.
Lot 33.
It's in one scene, I think, right? It's specific to the scene with Liz. It's possible it's the one, and that's it if you want.
And by the way, not to whatever, but go back to that piece of art from Seeds of Destruction. It matches. That's the outfit basically. If you go backwards to that piece of comic art, I don't know if the stitching is identical, but I'm just curious. I'm going back. Well, it's hard. It's more of in shadows.
It's hard because of the shadow,
but still, the sort of the shape, the form, definitely jumps out. I think Lot 33 is something that people are going to be very interested in, just because it's sort of his speed loader of the bullets, whatever. Which I just think is really neat, and I think people love that gun, the Samaritan, and just sort of
the Samaritan,
sort of a small piece of the Samaritan. Samaritan in a way. Like, if you can't have the Samaritan, this is a nice sort of starting bid of $4,000, sort of reasonable, sort of a little more, perhaps. So I thought very neat.
I love the hardware store packaged
Yeah.
bullets on lot 34. Those are great. If just one of those would be such a great
gag. I had forgotten that gag until I was looking at this. But yeah, and with the BPRD on the back of the bullets there, just fabulous.
Brilliant.
And I love the next lot 35. These are the Cronin swords. I thought Cronin was a badass. I love the way these things look. I love the specific design with the sideways hilt. It's a very specific sword. Like, it doesn't look like every other sword in a really wonderful way. I could do without the "For Deutschland" written on it. I wish there was a swastika on it, but still, I want to make it clear that it's not just Germany I'm supporting, but Nazi Germany. But still, I always love that
I think you could do that with the display. Dave.
Oh, I like that. Just paint the wall a giant yellow swastika.
Paint the wall red.
We've now got a full-on signed and annotated personal color-coded script where I guess these are Guillermo's notes. Some of them are color notes. Some of them are just comments, things he wants to explain. This is for Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and I think that's pretty neat. Just to get a little piece of Guillermo thought process, I think is very fun. Yeah, and I guess this now takes us into the Golden Army section. So we've got some storyboards by Wayne Barlow. Very neat.
More conceptual art. The Limb Vendor.
Yep, lot 39, The Limb Vendor. Very neat. That movie is so interesting. And I guess influenced a little bit by Prague with all sort of the puppets and stuff. That's like a big thing there. I really love the lot 40. This is a maquette that they scanned for the Troll Market Bogart creature. He goes to that kind of wild, wonderful Troll Market, which is kind of the cantina sequence of the movie. And this thing was wonderful, with especially the faces in the knees. I just love it. More storyboards, which are great, and we get to a real showstopper.
This is good. Yeah, Big Baby.
Yeah, what's bigger than the Samaritan? The Big Baby. This is pretty incredible.
This is a cool prop. Now, did this ever show up in the book, or is this a pure?
In my mind, it didn't, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought this was a movie.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I thought this was a movie thing. I thought it was a sort of a delicious indulgence that he just kind of almost wanted to outdo the Samaritan, like in a real fun kind of like. If you thought the Samaritan was cool, here's Big Baby. I love the sort of that attitude, like, of gonzo filmmaking. Like, he's going to have an even bigger gun if that's possible. And here it is. Crazy wild design, comes with shells. It's great looking.
This is
screen use prop.
Bananas.
Yeah, this is, what's the estimate on this?
50 is just the starting bid.
I think this to me is going to be, if not then certainly one of the highest pieces in the entire auction, I think. For sure. So prepare yourself for that if interested. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And all the detail on it, the Big Baby logo on the handle.
I love the World War II sort of graffiti style.
Yep, on the side of an airplane or the back of a leather jacket. Yeah.
Just wild.
Yeah. This and then we have killer.
We have King Baylor and Princess Nuala scanning puppets from the original prologue. Yep. That's very neat. Yeah, because there's this prologue in the beginning. And
I love that beginning with all the puppets, like, telling the story. And what I also loved about these is sort of, again, how very Mignola they look. If you look in particular at the Raven Guard in lot 44, the eyes, the helmet. Again, just very Mignola in a really fun
and also
way.
The next the next two, whatever those are, on the immediate following page. Yeah, I guess that is the Raven Guard, the one you're talking about, right?
Yes, with the helmet. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. That's the one with the little sword.
And just a really bunch of, I guess, it's always funny. I guess he's willing to give up more screen use props from Hellboy 2 than Hellboy 1. But there's a piece of lot 45, a piece of the crown, which is the sort of the, not the exactly, exactly, of the film, exactly, the quest. Lot 46, The screen-used hero dagger, which is, again, just beautiful, very ornate handle, and I don't know, what do you want to call that, the scabbard or whatnot. Lot 47, this is the full-size Raven Guard costume, fighting helmet, and silicone torso ensemble. Fuck, that's beautiful. It's on a really nice stand, too, just ready to just be displayed in the corner of your house. And there's 2 of those, actually. There's 2 of them. So you really have to get both. You have to get both. You kind of line the doors to your bedroom with that. Really gorgeous piece. I love the mask alone, but the whole thing is really great.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Lot 49 is the screen-used sword that goes with the Raven Guards.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Wink, who's such a fun character in Hellboy 2. They have a really nice production maquette from that, which is kind of great. So
beautiful,
I like that.
Beautiful sculpture.
51, screen-used hero golden egg containing the last elemental. So again, I guess like sort of memory serves sort of the other MacGuffin, I guess, basically. But again, screen-used from Guillermo del Toro. Reasonable starting bid, $6,000. I mean, that's, I don't know. This stuff is a little bit priced to move, or at least getting the bidding going, which is always going, it's I don't know, I think it's the fun part about the heritage auctions, the very sort of sometimes ridiculously low starting bids where you kind of are looking at it going, that's going to go so much higher, but boy oh boy, it does get action. You get a sense they like the action. They're very happy to have, like, roll the dice. Like, they know what they have and they're content to kind of
to let it go.
Get
up to where it belongs.
To let it go. Yeah.
Lot 53 and 54.
Hold on, really quickly. I'm sorry. I am going to go to 52 because this is the piece you were talking about. This is the oversized insert arm and hand.
Yes,
this is the piece Ryan was referencing earlier that holds the egg. So anyway, really cool. I apologize. Keep going though. I just wanted to call that out.
Yes, but this was a different movie though, because the other thing I was talking about was for Blade 2.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant this one. I apologize.
No, he was just saying in the.
He just likes doing it. Yes.
UV bomb lot. He speaks about liking this sort of large insert hand, so you can get this really kind of macro photography done on these really well made. This is a guy who loves props, obviously, and loves the making of them. But I went to lot 53 and 54. These are Luke Goss's, of course, who also played. His name is now escaping me, but he was the main Reaver in Blade 2.
Oh.
He came over and played the Prince Nuada in Hellboy 2, but his 2 weapons, the spear and the sword, 53 and 54, which are gorgeous little pieces of work and very recognizable, very, very recognizable.
Yes, so ornate, so of the Hellboy world, which is what I love about them in particular. And then starting with lot 55, Pan's Labyrinth.
Baby.
Yeah, which I guess what I would say is, and it's interesting, I think I knew Guillermo first from Hellboy, had not gone back. And, I'm not a big horror guy, so I had not gone back at the time to see Cronos. And then Pan's Labyrinth I saw and was just so blown away with it. That's kind of what got me to go backwards into his more auteur stuff like Cronos.
Yeah, his Spanish language stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Just loved Pan's Labyrinth.
I love Pan's. I mean, to me, it's like Pan's and Devil's Backbone are my 2 favorites of his, I think.
And somewhere in there, I saw The Mimic, but I guess they kind of screwed him a little on that, didn't they?
Yeah, I think that was like Welcome to Hollywood Kid.
Right.
It was his first studio movie, and he didn't realize how much he was going to be pushed around.
Yeah, if we're going to fuck with John Woo, get ready for what we're going to do to you. So, yeah.
Yeah. And look how well that turned out for Hollywood.
Yeah. We did it. We did it. Studios are doing great. The thing about Pan's Labyrinth, I mean, you can say this about every one of his movies.
Those executives are almost certainly still working today.
Well, or if nothing else, I hope they got at least 2 golden parachutes. So I hope at least 2. The thing about Pan's Labyrinth, and it sounds like a cliche, and I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. It's a visual feast. That's what I wanted to say. It's a visual feast. I don't care. And so just starting with these incredible just concept sketches by Raoul Monge, just beautiful because to me, it's the story, it's everything, but it is just every frame of that movie is just jam-packed, and I just love seeing these various, like, sketches and concept pieces, even for stuff like the Mills, Lot 58, the Mills military machinery, just some of the overgrowth, the fig tree concept in Lot 59. I mean, this stuff is just gorgeous. Her crawling in with the frog, the girl in the frog storyboard art, Lot 60.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I love this stuff. So this stuff really did it for me. In particular, Lot 61, because it's got the Pale Man, who I think, that's the
hands guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's who you want. So the art here is just fabulous. Lot 63, the Test of the Three Doors, really fabulous. And then we get in Lot 65, we actually get 3 pieces of the entrance monoliths. So sort of we're now into prop land as well. And each one sort of fake stone, but gorgeously carved and just very representative of this movie. And of course, even though these are not Mignola, there's an aesthetic, and you can see why Guillermo likes Mignola. You know what I mean? It's like
it's heavy influence.
Yeah, right. Really, really excellent.
66
really
with Clapper.
Yep, signed by Guillermo, I guess from El Labyrinthino del Fauno, Pan's Labyrinth. There you go.
Yeah.
A little bit of Spanish for you. Very, very cool. So I guess
that's funny. Do you say that the director is labeled Pinche Angelito, which is fucking angel,
and then fucking Angel of Stone is the camera operator. So they're having fun.
Hands of Stone. Yeah.
Oh, Hands of Stone. Okay.
Hands of Stone.
Fucking Hands of Stone. Yeah. They're having fun on the Pan's Labyrinth set.
I love it.
Very neat. I have clappers in my collection, but I have no Spanish ones in my collection. And then Lot 67 to me is beyond killer. Just an original illustration of, I guess, the book version that he did of Pan's Labyrinth called The Labyrinth of the Faun. And you can see the piece in the book, and this is, I don't know, I love this work. I don't think I ever picked up the book, but maybe I'm going to pick this book up.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick that up now for my kids.
Yeah, scare the F out of them.
Yeah, why not?
And there's more. This starts a section of just some really gorgeous, beautiful work. Alan Williams is the artist on this work, and just really, really, really beautiful. This fairy piece, 68. This is all really great. And then starting with Lot 70, we're into Pacific Rim, which is sort of another sort of wild, wonderful part of his career.
Ripped out of his id.
Yeah, the kaiju, I guess, I guess what we're talking about here. Again, Wayne Barlow, whose name we recognize from, this is Lot 71, back from the old Hellboy days, but also Keith Thompson. So just all this really just interesting early sketch work on what some of these kaiju look like. Getting to Lot 74, this guy I do recognize, Knifehead, I know is in the movie.
Yes.
Kind of almost like a hammerhead shark with multiple arms and whatnot. Really, really neat. Lot 75 is fascinating. It's a pre-production concept model of a Jaeger con pod. So look at the level of model making on this just as a piece of concept art.
Yeah.
I mean, this obviously, I guarantee you there were people telling him he did not have to make this model. I guarantee it. Like that they did not want to make a model like this. And I love this.
I love that he did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mounted on a wooden base, just all sorts of resin, metal, rubber, bead foam, all sort of tubing, and again from his collection. Another maquette for Meathead, Lot 76, really gorgeous, kind of almost like glowing out of the mouth. I guess that's just a kind of a blue and the lights hitting it. And again, reasonable starting bids. I mean, all of this stuff. This movie to me is so silly and fun. I mean, I just
it is. It's great fun.
Exactly. I like, the part I like about it the most, which a little bit is the collector's thing. It's when actually, what's his name, Ron Perlman pops in as sort of the black market black market dealer of basically props, like hashtag private deals of all the found
like kaiju
stuff.
memorabilia.
Kaiju memorabilia. A lot of kaiju Thor 2 hammers. A lot of kaiju ruby slippers. So yeah, really,
really man, lots of helmets from the Mandalorian too.
Kaiju Mandalorian helmets.
Ripped. Yeah, maybe that's a new excuse. It doesn't match because it's actually from a parallel universe.
79, I'm sure, will be the piece from this section that, well, I don't know, maybe the monsters attract people the most. But 79 and 80, we actually have 2 full screen use suits. Basically, a black and a white. Basically, you get one of each. I mean, just pretty incredible looking here. I don't even know.
Charlie Hunnam's.
Yeah, these are both worn by Charlie Hunnam. These are the key hero suits. This was all legacy effects. I remember that from the time. I knew someone that was working over there that did some of the work on the sort of like making them. And actually, I think he ended up jumping in as like a lab tech so that he could help make it all work. All the spine stuff and the way it like hooks in. Just, I don't know, really, really wonderful. Some more Pacific Rim and Escape Pod. And then we get to 82 is his TV show, The Strain, that he did.
The Strain?
Yeah. I guess based on a book that he kind of helped create with Chuck Hogan. And they've got, these are the ones with the crazy neck, the sort of the neck vampire flaps, which is really neat. So this
really
starts,
horrifying.
82, Vampire Makeup Master Reference Bust. And this section now covers, that's it for that. Now we're into Crimson Peak. I have to admit, I never saw Crimson Peak. Somehow I missed that one. I think I've seen everything else. But lovely old sort of, an old gramophone, an old magic lantern. I mean, again, you get he has interests and things that he's into, and then you're sort of he puts them in the movies too. Exactly. He has a sort of a sensibility that is always very consistent. Now we're up to 86, the Oscar winner Shape of Water, and this is a conceptual. This is an actual concept clay full body maquette for the Amphibian Man. So this would be very early in the production, which is I guess I just love seeing it. Just the nature.
The Academy Museum should really have that, right?
That boy. And there's a couple of them here. There's a couple of the next lot 87, has a trio of different like faces and sort of torsos that he's playing with, all similar but with slight differences. This is the movie here. This is the movie, and that feels like an Academy piece. And then a funny lot 88, an ocean access sign from when he escapes, which would be kind of a fun wall piece, I think. If you're a fan,
screen match, by the way, doing a quick screen match here, right? Just looking at it in the frame, it's that one.
If you're a fan of that movie, which I am, I think this is the piece. Actually, the maquettes are really cool, but there's something about this and its sort of significance in the film, and obviously it's not a giant piece. It's not, a costume or something, but I don't know. It's a very memorable signage, I guess, which I think is fun when you can find it.
And a plot device too.
Yeah.
Because he's saying this was, they needed a ticking clock, and this is the ticking clock.
You hang this on your wall, and one day you walk into your condo and it's fallen and the frame has smashed and you don't know why. So
smashed your $3,000 prop has smashed your X-Wing.
Yep. Next, we've got some very cool pieces from Nightmare Alley, which I get kind of a kick out of. Again, I'm not the biggest horror guy, but he brings me in on all of these things, which I'm always a little scared, and I'm always admitting it. I love 91, which is Toni Collette's Xena the Seer pendant. I thought was really neat. And then we talked earlier about the blank notebook, but lot 92 is a notebook filled with his like storyboards and sketches, his Ridley-grams, his Guillermo-grams, or Guillermo tunes, or I don't know, something like that, but very neat. And now we're going to really truly stop at lot 93. Comic fans, horror fans.
Is big,
And by the way, this to me is like concept art for his Frankenstein thing. And I want to point this out just because I think it's very funny, because I heard a lot of this piece was at San Diego Comic-Con, and so many people were talking about like, oh my God, so incredible. This is a Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein plate. It's so incredible. Why would he ever sell this? It's so incredible, whatever. This is one of the most beautiful plates I've ever seen. The pencil, pen, and ink work, just incredible. And you have to think to yourself, this is his worst one.
Yes, he's got 17.
He's got other ones that are better, just that are so much better, which is hard to digest, very hard to digest.
Yeah. Oh God, it's incredible. This is actually on my not the specific one, but a Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein is on my comic art list, just because I find these so beautiful. I mean, they're works of fine art, and I just
Years ago, the director, Frank Darabont, I don't think he was ever able to finish it. He was basically collecting scans of them from anyone that had one, that owned one. He was sort of putting scans together just because the printing of the original version was just not, as good as it could have been back in the day. The art looks better than the printing. And he was putting those together. I don't know whether he was going to do like an artist edition or a full new version. And, Bernie's at that point, I think Bernie was involved, and then when Bernie passed away, I think his widow was involved. So everybody, it was all, how does one say, it was all on the up and up. But I don't think they were able to finish it. I don't think they were ever able to track it all down, which I wish like Scott Dunbier with his Chapter 4, where he does the artist editions, would maybe pick up that
Act 4, I believe.
Act 4, sorry, you're right, Chapter 4. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Well, both would have worked, I guess. But I guess Act 4 is like what's after Act 3. Okay, fine. Act 4, you're good.
I think we just workshopped that he picked the correct business title.
You did it, Scott. You did it. But someone should reach out to Darabont and pick this project up. This would be an incredible thing. And I'm assuming they still have the scans. He scanned mine.
Have you ever been to Bleak House?
No, never to Bleak House. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping he'll listen to this and like sort of go, Dave or Ryan. I'm going to invite Dave. No. I was hoping
he's already met you.
Right. I was hoping we would get some sort of an invite at some point, because it would just be pretty incredible. And Guillermo, if you are listening, I would exchange it for a visit to Bleaker House, which is a place where there are floods every week. I call it Bleaker House.
A real horror experience.
It's actually kind of bleak, both decoration wise and the sheer amount of flooding. So Bleaker House.
Yes. And this perpetual sadness of the owner.
Yeah. Lot 94 is another Frankenstein plate. Very gorgeous. Obviously, no monster on this, so you're really admiring just the pen work. You're just really admiring the line on this piece.
God, and it's so good.
It's beautiful. I'm assuming that's Dr. Frankenstein in the distance. Traveling with the dogs
and his sled dogs.
Yeah, really. Just striking piece, the positive and negative space on this, and perhaps with no monster. I guess as not that Frankenstein plates are ever a bargain, but maybe perhaps a bit of a bargain. I don't know, but more so than the one with the monster. I think you can't go wrong with either piece. They're so striking, just so damn striking. Really fabulous. And then this back section, I guess, is sort of. It's about Bleak House itself. It's sort of less of the stuff from his own movies, and I guess just some more of the art and oddities of things that he collects. I really enjoyed Lot 95 is a book plate that I guess he had designed for all his books collection, which is giving me ideas. I can put them all in my books, and then I can finally sell my books. No, I do love the look of that. I think I love that his library has that in it. And then I think Lot 96, which is an antique anatomical wax sculpture of the human torso by C. Kellner, late 19th century. Well, if that's not Bleak House in one single wax sculpture of the human torso, I don't know what else is Bleak House. And this is the kind of piece why my children are still waking up in the middle of the night screaming, "Daddy, why did you take us to LACMA?" I think it's why they hate museums. I think that's I did that to them. I may have done that to them. I mean, I love this kind of cabinet of curiosity stuff. I always look at those kinds of auctions, weird freaks and strange taxidermy and stuff. And I guess it puts a smile on my face that he's sort of looking at the same stuff. I think that's very fun. 97 is kind of neat. Did you read this sort of description? Basically, did you read this story?
No, I'm looking at it right now.
This is a Ray Harryhausen Cyclops model kit that Guillermo built and painted himself. And apparently he has paint, like model building and painting parties. And guys like J.J. Abrams go over and build and paint models. I've heard Spielberg, this is all rumors. So I've never, no one has ever invited me to build a model, but I've heard J.J., I've heard Spielberg has gone over to build models. I mean, boy, to be a fly on that wall of the model building society. And by the way, he did a gorgeous job. Look at this model. This is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's got a future.
I like that. Lot 98 is a animation from Gertie the Dinosaur, which is Winsor McKay, one of the first or earliest animation things. And I think one of the things that's very funny is he's got kind of a Gertie kind of just laying down just on its side. I don't know. There's just something very cute about that. And Guillermo comments this is one of the earliest pieces he ever bought. He bought it from Van Eaton Galleries, Mike Van Eaton, or who's here in Los Angeles, which I thought was really neat. And that's followed by Lot 99, an Arthur Rackham, who is an incredible illustrator of, I think, children's illustrations. This is a English fairy tales piece from the early 1900s. Angry Wife, Mr. and Mrs. Vinegar from English Fairy Tales.
Oh wow!
And yeah, this is the kind of stuff that was in the LACMA
you knew this artist by name. Before
Rackham is well known. Okay. A big name in illustration art. And then lot 89-100, Evelyn Earle. This is a Mountain and Trees piece, but if you go to the next Evelyn Earle piece, 101, it's a Sleeping Beauty concept piece, and that is what Evelyn Earle is known for, is the Disney concept pieces. He then later on did original art that he sold through a gallery. So 100, I believe, is one of his original pieces from 1970, but 101 is a Sleeping Beauty concept piece from 1959 that shows the forest and the castle. Very pretty. Kay Nielsen, more Sleeping Beauty concept art. I'm not as familiar with Nielsen's name, but all this beautiful early pencil work here. 104 I love. Gahan Wilson, who longtime cartoonist for National Lampoon and Playboy, and kind of specializing, if you will, in always sort of darker, maybe slightly more cartoony, but horrifying stuff. There's always Grim Reaper stuff. There's a very famous one of like an eye exam where reading the eye exam is like something like, I am going to kill you. There's a murderer behind him. Like very much of that side. You can see his appeal to Guillermo. He also did this very wonderful thing. God, what was it called? Was it called Nuts? Which was sort of his almost version of Peanuts, which was little kids, but a lot less, like a little more, not horrifying, but a little sort of, a little more of his like sort of Gahan Wilson's sort of take on things.
The Addams Family version.
Yes, exactly. Maybe not exactly that horror specifically, but again,
that's cool.
Just really, really neat. I'm not familiar with that artist. 106 and 107, we've got some R. Crumb pieces.
I saw that he had Crumb pieces. This is kind of what I want. I want like a Crumb, because I love Crumb. I just want Crumb where there's like the whole story is on like the one piece. Whether it's a one pager or it's just a singular, like a political cartoon like this. I don't know.
The political cartoon is really neat, and the other one is like, I guess, something he did on a placemat drawing, which I guess they collected because he kind of can't stop sketching, which is really neat. With Crumb and God love him. Obviously, there are often a lot of pieces with sexual content that sort of make it difficult to hang on the wall per se. Both of these are kind of neat. One of them is really basically like a political cartoon about looks like about government oversight from 1980, and the other one kind of a street piece. He's done a couple of cartoons. Crumb himself was a big collector of like jazz records and stuff, like old jazz and blues records and stuff stuff, and he did like label albums for some of these cool, obscure like R&B like finds and stuff. And every now and then he's done strips or cartoons or stuff or drawings about collecting, and I always thought it would be incredible to have something like that as a collector. Just
as a collector,
yeah, exactly. 108, a Geiger original.
Giger,
yes. Geiger, sorry. The Tourist, 1980. I'm not familiar with this one, but it is wonderfully horrifying.
I do know this one, but I think it's probably because I've seen his collection before. You know, it's funny because I'm desperate for a Giger. I will get my one and done Giger at some point. I love this. It's beautiful.
You want something that's slightly closer to the Alien, right? Basically,
yes. And I eventually I would be willing to sort of, you know, spend up to get something that's more Necronomicon. That's like, I don't expect to get, you know, the original painting of the Alien, of course, because I think that's in the museum, but just something from that era, that style. And this is obviously, you know, this is from 1980. It's a touch afterwards. Right. So maybe this is now inspired by his work on Alien with Ridley. It's gorgeous. It's just not quite the right thing.
I get that.
Exactly what I'm looking for.
The stuff, though, it doesn't come up for auction often. So I think someone who has also been looking, this is going to satisfy them. I mean, I have no doubt about that.
It's exactly the right era. It's the sort of grayscale airbrush. It's got, you know, alien creatures, psychosexual undertones. It ticks all the boxes for sure.
And I think the fact that it's from Guillermo's collection, I think is going to hold sway with a lot of people. Like, it's one thing to have a Giger piece, but it's another thing to have a Giger piece from Guillermo del Toro's collection. So I am curious how that's going to play out in terms of, bidding and prices. I'm certainly a lot of bidding. I think you know, I think it's going to put a premium. I think having something, I guess, if you will, from the pedigree collection of Bleak House Part 1 is going to push some things higher than maybe they normally would have gone. You know, Mignola art sells for a good number, but will Mignola art from Guillermo go a little higher? Yeah, I kind of think so. I'm curious to see where it goes. And then, I don't know, this was fun, and I know why he has it. It's a Bernie Wrightson piece, lot 89109.
Yeah.
But this is a Meatloaf album.
Album.
Yeah.
It's great.
Dead Ringer, lot from 1981. I do not know this album, but it is very Bernie Wrightson, of these sort of like barbarian and girls riding on like a sea creature chopper, basically, of some sort there.
Yeah.
Just wild and wonderful.
Very like Frazetta evocative.
Sure.
Right?
Yep, very much so. I wonder what I'd be very curious about. Obviously he likes he talks about the color here, and normally he likes black and white, but he likes, you know, he thinks this is very interesting as a color piece. I'm curious, is he a Meatloaf fan as well? I guess, is it the art or is it the...
I think he's got to be, right? I
feel like it because it says Meatloaf. If it didn't say Meatloaf, I feel like you could buy the art unto itself. But I do think you got to like Meatloaf a little bit, not just the art. I think. I don't know. Meatloaf, I think. I don't know. Comic art fans, this is incredible, 89110. Yeah. This is a Mobius piece from the Incal with only a $30,000 starting bid, which is going to be blown by.
Nuts, yeah. Is this Mobius's most famous sort of comic work?
It's certainly, I don't know, one of two or three, I guess, for me. Okay. I guess. I mean, I think it's depending on how you found them. Look, if you're younger, there are people that probably are like, no, it's a Silver Surfer work because it's America. You know what I mean? And they didn't even know about this stuff. But I don't know, to me, this just has everything you want in sort of Mobius sci-fi, just the way he sort of, and you look at this page and you just see like every movie in the world has ripped off from this page.
Totally,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just you like sci-fi just took from him. Obviously he worked on sci-fi movies, but also, you know, these things like the Incal were sort of free for the taking, I guess, unfortunately. Next lot, another incredible big name in comic art. This is a Corbin piece. This is 89111. Vic and Blood, The Chronicle of a Boy and His Dog, #2 wraparound cover. Corbin piece. Again, not a lot of Corbin art showing up, and when it does, people go wild for it. Then it's followed by a couple of Corbin just nude drawings, which is not anything I'd ever seen. I've seen his story work. They have 89114. He's got a couple of pages from the Hellboy story that Corbin did, which I love. This is Macoma issue 2. He's got 2 pages. I also love The Crooked Man, which is another one he did. I just really love. I love Corbin. I love Corbin on Hellboy. This was really something special. I think it was also a real dream come true for Mignola, who's a huge Corbin fan as well. Just clearly. The way he does the creatures, the way he draws Hellboy, and yet very much still kind of like a man a little bit more, like a little bit less of a monster in an interesting way, like the head of a monster, the hand of a monster. But I don't know. I love it. And then speaking of Mignola, 89116, check this out. This is a Clive Barker Hellraiser #2 Pinhead pinup, the original art from Marvel, 1990. And
just pre-Hellboy.
Yeah.
But very, like, you can see him refining that style. The style that would become so synonymous with Hellboy is so apparent in this piece here.
Just incredible.
It's wild.
And what I love, and he kind of calls this out, and I should point this out, it's really a great catalog to read because it includes, like, each piece, usually, or not every piece, but a lot of the pieces have little comments from Guillermo as you go along. And in this piece in particular, he talks about the fact of how hard it was to get a color piece by Mike from this period. And I can tell you, as a Mignola collector, really, really difficult. And he said, I was a big fan of Hellraiser, the Gothic vibe, and obviously it all led to Hellboy, and just how, again, the search for a color piece. So again, the collector in me just goes, that's absolutely right. I kind of love what a collector he is. This piece is beyond striking. This was also at San Diego, and it was incredible to see in person. And reminiscent, I guess maybe on purpose, I'm sure, of that concept piece for Blade 2. This character, and there are some similarities with that character he was drawing.
Damaskinos.
Yes, exactly. Then we've got a couple of Nightmare Before Christmas concept pieces. These are lovely.
Yeah, very, very, very Tim Burton-y.
Yep.
It doesn't say.
No, I don't think they are. I believe
artists.
I think they were just people drawing like him at that point.
Doing his thing. Yeah. I like the Christmas one. That one's very charming to me. The little kid finding the snake under
the horrible Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the gate one is cool too, just because I feel like that's a sort of a well-known image. The sort of 117, if you will. So yeah. Lot 119 and 120.
I like this Turtles page.
Yeah, this is Rick Veitch doing, with Kevin Eastman, doing a Casey Jones story. I don't know this story. I know a lot of Turtles stuff. There's 3 pages.
No, I didn't know
as
this.
well. Yeah.
And Veitch is artist on one of my favorite Dark Horse books, the Dark Empire saga.
Oh.
Right? Veitch and Kennedy? Am I off on that?
Cam Kennedy is the artist. I don't think Veitch.
Oh, the artist. Okay.
Yeah.
Is Veitch the writer?
No, I don't think so.
So there's another Veitch in comics. Okay.
I think you're getting the name wrong. I'm sorry.
Should I look this up?
Yeah, look it up. But I think it's somebody else. I knew Veitch. He was he's very famous for his aborted run on Swamp Thing, where he was taking Swamp Thing back in time, and eventually Swamp Thing was going to be like
Tom Veitch.
Tom Veitch. There you go. So it is a Veitch. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they related?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But Rick Veitch, wonderful underground artist, and like I said, did this Swamp Thing story where he was taking Swamp Thing back in time. Eventually, Swamp Thing was going to be, I think, the wood of the cross that Jesus is crucified on. And needless to say, DC never published it. But there's a rumor going around they're finally going to publish it. So I'm sort of fascinated.
Cool.
Yeah, they didn't publish it, and then a lot of people walked off the book, including Veitch. And I think the next run was going to be a big name, and he walked off in support. But I think the rumor is that they are going to finally publish it. Anyway, Rick Veitch, really wonderful.
It's very interesting though, because Guillermo's never been associated with Turtles. This is a very specific book, right?
No, I'm assuming
Casey
this
Jones,
is. I'm assuming he is both a fan of the book,
vigilante.
but I'm guessing the Veitch art is what is drawing him into
the thing.
it.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Yeah, unfortunately for these, there's no like little why I bought this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
122 is someone you know. I believe.
Yeah. Gary Gianni, the amazing illustration artist. I mean, just incredible. You can see on this piece in particular his pen and ink. Very, I'm not saying he's doing Bernie Wrightson, but it's in that world of just this very, very fine line art that's sort of book illustration quality. He's not doing a comic book style. Gary did, I own a giant Conan painting, an oil painting that could easily be hanging in a fine art museum. It's that good. And he also did, which I've shown before, the very first piece of concept art that I had done on House of the Dragon was done by Gary, who was who had done a bunch of sort of Westeros art with Duncan Egg and original Song of Ice and Fire and some of the history stuff. And
he had done illustrations, right, for certain editions.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct. And I just felt he was the perfect person to do that. And I just wanted some kind of thing to mark the sort of beginning of that journey. So he did that way back before they even greenlit the pilot. So I still have that hanging in my house. It's the mine is the funerary, the burning of Queen Emma.
The Queen.
When right after she dies in childbirth in the first episode. And it's funny because how the thing that he drew before we had anything is so evocative of the eventual scene that we did in the show. But just incredible. I really love it.
And Guillermo, I mean, this is a beautiful piece, and Guillermo actually calls out both Joseph Clement Cole and John Allen St. John, or J. Allen St. John, just as sort of big name sort of illustrators from the turn of the century that remind him this delicate pen and ink work, and yet so intricate and such level of detail. Just a beautiful piece. I'm not familiar with it at all, but I do really
I don't know it, but I might have to be bidding on it because I love Gary's work so much.
It's really gorgeous. 123 is another stout.
I love this stout piece.
Yep, and it's a Stardust piece, which is very cool. He mentions that he worked with him on the early days of development for Pan's Labyrinth, so again, a connection there. And he calls this an example of neo-Rachman-esque. So we talked about Rachman earlier with the Fairy Tale piece, and you can see that with the fox and some of the detail, especially like the trees and stuff. Really neat.
Yeah.
And then 124, of course, he's got a Kaluta piece in his collection. Yeah, and this is, I guess, a very sort of Japanese theme piece from Legend of the Five Rings, the Four Winds era, by Shosuro Higatsuku. It's a card art painting. I'm not familiar with the piece, but just beautiful and very, very Kaluta, very intricate, beautiful colors with a very, of course, very designed background. And boy, if he's putting this in, I'll be very curious as to what
he's keeping,
what Kaluta he's keeping. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then I think we're getting into some, I guess, this next one
surrealist
is maybe
stuff.
But also like I think book illustration stuff maybe, or I don't even know, or just like sci-fi illustration. Victor Safankin, the Cloud Trainer, very cool piece, a big like giant or something pulling a cloud. Not a guy I know, not a piece I know, but very kind of neat. And then 126 is really fascinating. Andre Dugan and Olga Dugan, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Bertie Bott concept painting original art. And I want to just read this. He says, when Cuarón got his Harry Potter film, he called me, Guillermo, to discuss possible, more off-kilter master illustrators to work on the film. I suggested Wayne Barlow and the Dugans, whose remarkable fairy tale illustration work remains unrivaled in contemporary illustration. In gratitude, Alfonso gave me a handful of images from the film. This is the most canon of them all. So the Bertie Botts, what is it? They're like those are like the gross tasting, like like
the candy makers, right?
Yes.
Isn't it? Don't they make a bunch of?
But isn't specifically maybe this is an ad for all of them. But don't they make the weird ones?
They make
where
the jelly beans.
The jelly beans with the really weird flavors.
Yeah, I think it's either the candy store or the brand, and I think they have other things, and the jelly beans are one of them. I think so.
Again, really, fascinating concept art, fascinating piece of Harry Potter art, and of course, I love that Cuarón, as we obviously know, both reached out to him, but also it's part of the making that movie a little bit darker. Again, these are some original paintings by Chet Zar. I'm not familiar, but certainly.
So it's funny because I
you know this name?
Okay, I do, because I subscribe to this newsletter that it's called Morpheus, I think, and it's just surrealist imagery. It's a Giger mailer, and they often offer prints and things like that. There's never original Gigers in there, but there are a couple of modern surrealists who kind of influenced by Giger or in the Giger sort of, and you can see that here. This is a very Bacon-y painting. Giger sort of very heavily influenced by Francis Bacon. You can see the Bacon in this. But Chet Zar is often in originals by him, are often in that newsletter. That this, I guess it's a dealer or what do you call it? Like a broker, like the way.
But I can very much understand why Chet Zar is included in this grouping. I mean, I can see it just by looking. So,
and also in one of my other interests, Chet Zar has done a lot of work for Tool, which is one of my favorite rock bands. So it all kind of, and I guess I didn't make that connection until I read this, because I've seen his stuff a bunch of times in the mailing, but I didn't realize. But now that makes sense, having seen lots of disturbing Tool album covers and insides.
I mean, maybe Meatloaf. We don't know. Maybe Meatloaf albums. Yeah. So,
Foo Dog.
Yeah.
It's like a sculpture.
I guess it's a sculpture, but it moves. The dog's head.
It's an automaton.
Goes left and right. Yeah. So, I can only assume this must have stood in Bleak House somewhere and come to life to kind of almost like a Disney theme. I guess that's where Brian Poor built this, and I guess he works sometimes for Disney. Very, very neat. I guess I don't have anything like this in my Bleak House, so this is pretty neat.
Well, now you can.
Right now I can. An 8132, Annie Stegg Gerard, The Jeweled Snapping Birdie, sort of a menagerie piece. Mm-hmm. Very, very part turtle, part, fairy, part dinosaur. And then
bringing it home.
Yeah, and then there at the end, just a lovely picture of Guillermo holding Big Baby again in Bleak House with a big smile on his face. And then
very happy.
And then there's the note, 2026, Bleak House Part 2.
Part 2.
So that'll give you some time to reload.
So
wild.
We've made a overture to Mr. Del Toro to try to get him to come on the podcast. He's very busy, it sounds like, doing press and promotion for Frankenstein. So if we don't grab him this time around in this side of the year, I'm hoping that after we've promoted this
we have got
episode,
to get the man.
Maybe we can get this into his hands and work, pull what strings David and I have and get him to come on and maybe talk about the second sale when it comes around in 2026.
This is a pretty wild start to Heritage's Fall. We're going to be with them for a whole bunch of stuff. We've got the Stuart Berkowitz collection of 60s television, and including an incredible 60s Batman collection. But there's so much more than that. I don't want to just limit it to 60s collection. Stuart was a wonderful guy, sadly passed away, and he just had an incredible collection of Honeymooner stuff, other 60s TV, all sorts of stuff. So I can't really wait to see that catalog. That's coming. Huge Walking Dead auction is coming. And also the Keith Fromm collection, which is more comic art related, but we'll maybe do a big comic art show with Heritage about that. So we've got a really exciting basically September, October into the beginning of November with Heritage, with some really just big auctions. One thing that really, like, if you had to pick the thing that you're most going to go after, is there a piece that is the most for you? I know, we're here. People sometimes care.
My favorite piece is probably the Wrightson plate.
Okay.
Maybe
give it a run. Maybe look at it, chase it.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But just given what it's going to do. But But I don't know. I mean, I like that. I like the little nightmare concept art. I actually like that Harry Potter concept art too.
Yes.
The Birdie Bots. And I know my kids would love that. I don't know. I'm compelled to get one of his versus a physical thing. I like a piece of art because I just know how much he loves art.
Sure. I want to rewatch Azkaban and just sort of see where you see that logo. Like how prominent is it? I'm guessing it probably is. I just don't remember. I'm very curious about that. Yeah, I thought that was neat, and I love that Guillermo Cuarón connection. So I like that part of the story. I mean, I love Big Baby is fabulous. It's funny. I'm definitely staring at some of the prop stuff. I don't know. I can't tell if a Hellboy jacket is another one of these things that I'm never quite going to buy, but I've thought about it a lot. I do like that movie, and I do think this jacket is incredible, and it's from Guillermo. So that's on my mind. But I'll be very honest, the Mignola Blade 2 storyboard, that from the time I saw that exhibit that scarred my children, I remember just kind of going, I want one of those. And here is one of those. So I don't know. That is 100%. I mean, I don't know how to say this. There are probably other things that are bigger and maybe better. I don't even know. Again, it's all subjective. But that is the thing in some ways I've been looking for. And so I'm very excited about that. So, I also think they're going to be doing a big display in Beverly Hills for Heritage. And I'm going to be going over there to film some videos. So check out our YouTube channel, if you will. You see some fun videos. And what else? Check out our social media. Follow our social media. Please, if you've never done it, give our podcast 5 stars. That would be wonderful. And tell a friend.
Give us a review. Post a review.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Download it on your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend's, mom's,
put on your parents. They'll never know it's there.
Subscribe. They'll never know. Or they might start listening, which would also work out well for us.
And email us at
dreamsareMadeOfPodcast@gmail.com.
And let us know what you're going after. If you're bidding on anything, we'd be very curious what you think are the highlights of Bleak House, or the treasures, the horrors, or whatnot. And we'll talk to you soon.
And we'll be back for another one of these Heritage catalogs very soon.